Hi guys, on the top of the hour I'm going to show you how to make a bee out of polymer clay, so I'll see you then. Bye! Hi guys, welcome. I'm Carly from Carly's Creative Clay. Hi Arty Hearty Life, it's lovely to see that you're here with me. I hope you are all having a good week. I'm doing alright this week actually. My shoulders are feeling a lot better. I'm taking a week from doing a big project. I'm going to do something very simple this week. So I'm making little bee charms. But what I'm making, when I first made these, I found that the wings came off very easily. It was a real problem. So I've developed a way of doing it so that you have a wire structure inside. It basically looks like a long stick with two little wings, so like a tiny metal bee. So as you can see, if I line them up, on the inside of those wings each have one of those metal loops, so that will prevent the wing from breaking off like it would before, because it's structurally tied into the base more. So before I get going on showing you how to make the armature, by the way, an armature is basically the fancy word for skeleton. It's anything that gives structural stability to something. I want to talk about the next big project that I'm going to do. And really there are two choices that I'm swaying between. So if you have a vote, do let me know on the comments underneath, or get in touch some way. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. Either look up Carly's Creative Clay or Carly Langridge, which is Langridge. The two choices are either a satyr. I'm terrible at pronouncing this. Basically a goat man, or I'm going to do a rock troll. So, do you want to see a goat guy or a troll? One of the two are going to be my next one. So, let me know what you think. If I hear nothing, I'm just going to have to pick one from random. Okay? The other one will get done at some point, though. I promise.
Maybe flip a coin.
Yeah. Right. So, let's get started showing you how to make the metal armature. And I'm going to do it with a lot longer bit of wire, so it's bigger, so it shows up on the camera, and some wire that's a lot thinner because it's easier to work with. But when you are working, try to make sure you get some florist wire that's a thickness that's going to hold what you want. I meant to get my, here we are. I would say the wire that I use, because I never remember, that is a 19, and the thin one is a 22. So the smaller the number, the thicker the wire. But I found a 19 is fine to be able to work with. So your first stage is to fold it in half. Now, if it's not perfectly in half, that's actually good, because you want to have a little bit of one longer than the other in order for the in order for the stinger to be put on. Although if it turns out that your body winds up longer than the wire, I find that they hold on pretty well. So let's get some pliers in. You're going to need a couple of pairs of pliers and something like a paintbrush in order to wrap around to get your wing size. Now, the wing size you want to be smaller than the wings you're going to make out of clay. Can you see? They sit inside, so you don't want the metal to wind up showing. So anyway, your first bit, fold it in half and get a decent crease on that end. Right, let's try not have this slip all over the place. Should have put hand moisturiser on. It's my practice to put on hand moisturiser before stream, because it leaves less fingerprints in your polymer clay. But when you're working with wire, obviously it's sliding everywhere. So you've got it folded in half. You're going to decide how long you want the front half to be, because you want your wings to sit not directly in the middle, but you can see the proportions. So that would be the midline between the whole thing, it's just slightly further forward, and you're gonna, so you're measuring out that bit, yeah, that top bit there. And once you worked out how long you want that to be, hold it with your pliers. Then you can use your other pliers to twist that top half, and you get a much more structurally sound armature if you twist wires together rather than just letting them sit next to each other. Right, you can see I made a kind of curve shape. If you just put it in your pliers, you'll flatten that right out easily. You want that straight. Now, next we're going on to these wings. And you're going to have to do a bit of envisioning here, because what you need to work out, the straight line part of the armature sits halfway up your model, so you'll be poking your body and head on in the middle, so you'll have half the head above and half the head below the line, yeah? So we need these wing loops to be able to reach to the top of the back before the actual loops are in place, so that you've actually got something that's stable. Does that make sense? So if you can see on this, it's got like a little line just straight up the sides of each of the loops before I put the loop in. It's not right down close to the line, yeah? So you're going to envision half the back, and then that's where you start your body. Sorry, that's where you start your wing loops. Get one of the wires, move it out the way to the side, measure where you want your wing loop, and wrap it, the wire, around. Now, this bit's fiddly. Make sure.
There's getting white noise in the audio. Not terribly loud, like a distant ocean.
It's possibly a fan in the background because it's absolutely boiling in this room. We've got every window open, but yeah, it's to try and prevent me being a complete sweaty, horrible mess on screen. So, right, so if you bring that wire around like that, you find you can't loop it because the other one's in the way. Make sure you're bringing it round the front and your second wing wire is right out of the way. So you're wrapping it round like that, then turn it up on its side so you see the loop, and you bring that around down the wire to your back level again, yeah? Now you've got to do the same on the other wing. The easiest trick, so you haven't got to then try and measure everything, is you bring the bottom of that wire out of the way, you get your other wire that you need to measure wing up, and you literally line it up with the first loop. You haven't taken it off, and then you can bring that round, but you can see trying to start twisting that up is going to be a problem at that point.
I said I thought it might be tinnitus.
James has that. So what I do is I take it off the loop that I've done the twist up with already, move that right out of the way, then that gives you all that space to twist this one round so that it goes down to the base again. Hi! We're doing bee armatures.
Well, bees.
So now we've got those wires meeting at the bottom. We've got the two wings that are equal sizes and distance away from each other. See? Then all you need to do, get your pliers in, hold the two wires, and I like to hold them through the wing base like that, and then use your pliers or use your hands to continue that twist along until it's the length you want your back. And you can then make sure it's all straight, that the wings are facing, if you see, they're going to be flat to the side, so you want to face them like that and like that. Point them in the right direction. You want it all laying right before you put clay on. But you saw how easy that was. Yeah? Well, because we're working on smallers, I thought it would be easier to do it on a bigger bit. So let's get my pliers out the way. So we're down to the small armature. Now we're starting with a yellow, and they do a true yellow and they do a lemon. I think the true yellow is more what you want. If you've got one that's a bit more on the orangey side, I find you do get Bumble Bees that are that sort of saffron colour rather than the bright yellow, so you can work with that still. It's not a complete bust. Right, let's get my knife. First bit we're going to do is that middle band around there, and how we're going to do that is we're going to take off two small bits, and we're going to shape that into more of a disc so that it's, see, kind of thick round disc, roughly the size that we want, so about that. Yeah, make sure the other one's the same. And where I'm working with light yellows and white, gonna need to have my isopropyl alcohol to clean it all up afterwards. So you push one disc on from the tail end, give it a wiggle, move it up, and then firmly secure it around all of that at the base of the wings, and you can put the other disc on the other side. And you're going to join these two together, so get rid of that join line so it looks like one solid ball. I find that I end up misshaping it whilst I'm doing that, but once I've got it all joined on, I can then come back in, look at the shape, and also take off any extra clay if it's too big, which this one is. So bring that down, just have a little fiddle, get the shape how you want, then all the smoothing's right, so like that, but it's too large for that middle bump. So what you do is you come in with your craft knife, hold it by the wings, and you can cut that down to size. Just follow it round on the wire. Whoop. Like that. So you don't have to be exact with your measurement, because you can always take some off. See? So hot in here, my clay's so sticky. And again, it doesn't matter that it's not fully joined at the very base of those wings there, because the wings will hide that. Okay? So the only bit you're really looking at is that the outside edge is smooth and it's in the shape you want, which this looks pretty good to me. So we go now in with the head. The head on my style is quite a big ball, so that'll do. And try and make sure you do rub out any joining lines. For some reason I washed my hands and I'm still getting dust on this. It's so annoying. Right, head side. like this. Give it a little wiggle and bring it down and make sure it joins to that clay properly, because that's what's going to hold it all on. Like so. Now, before I put the towel and abdomen part on, I'm going to do that little eyelet in the nose, because it means I've got the wing and that back side to hold on to, and I'm not smudging everything. Now, people can get away with just literally pushing your eyelet in, but I find you've got a chance of it coming out, especially on a charm that's going to be thrown around in a bag or on the sides of purses and stuff like that. It tends to end up being one of the items that is getting more and more wear and tear, far more than what a statue would. So what I'm doing is I'm putting that eyelet in, pushing it down so it's at that level, see, then I come in with a little bit of that yellow clay. You don't need a lot, just a little band like that, and you're going to put it through that eyelet like so. Probably too wide. Let's take some of that off. Even that small bit was too big. There we are. Right, fit it through that eyelet and secure it down. Oops. See? Then you can come in with some of your ball tools. You're going to need ball tools, I find. They are some of my best tools. They're so cheap online as well. Come in and you just smooth that into the rest of the head. Let's use a bigger ball tool. And it holds the eyelet in place. Does that make sense? It's a little bit of extra fiddle, but that eyelet is not going anywhere once you have done this. So the two places that I found it broke the most was the little eyelet coming out and the wing snapping off if you just push clay onto clay. So there we are. Right, it looks like he's got a little ball nose ring, but he's ready for his back end. So bee butt, again quite a bit of clay. You're starting in with it at a ball shape like so. Then we're going to take one side and just start to pinch and twist to make it more of that sort of teardrop shape. Okay, you don't want to bring it to too fine a point. You want there to be a flat top to it so that you can stick on that stinger. Now hold the wings, it's easier, and just push that body through the spike into place like so. So that's all your yellow done. So I can get all this out of the way.
I love the nose ring. It's so cute.
It is a cute nose ring. Now generally I come in at this stage with my isopropyl rubbing alcohol, 70%. 70% or higher is where you want to go with this. If you can get your hands on it at the moment. It's like hen's teeth. So just take off any of that dust that's there, because your alternative is do it once it's baked and then you've got to scrape it off with a blade or sand it off, which you're liable to sand off the black stripes before you get down to getting all this dust off the yellow. So it's worth just take some time and take off the dust and dark marks. The white's even worse for it. The white you basically need a hazmat suit for.
Do you
Nope, I'm not dipping my cotton bud twice, because you don't want your clay dissolved into your rubbing alcohol, because then you'll find that when you go to do a lighter colour or a different colour, you're going to put on the yellow that you had from your bee. You can pour it out, but I find when you do that, you end up wasting more in the tipping process. So that's roughly it. Lid on tight and give my hands a wipe down. Cleanliness and all that. Good. Right, let's put all this out of the way. So now we're on to the stripes. So what I've done is rolled out some very, very thin strips of black. Yeah. The first stripe, and the most annoying to actually do, these wings aren't faced the right way. So it helps you if you notice that you've got your wings facing the wrong way before you put all your clay on. The joys of the things that I do to myself. Right, these pliers should do it. So I've got one the right way round, and then this I'm gonna try and turn it like that. There we go. I've got it. It's in. They're right. Universe, you don't have to give me challenges. There we go. Right, is that stripe along where the wings are. So what I do is I tuck the bit of clay through that hole and then push it in the middle there. See? Then I can get my ball tool, make sure that it's going through the center of, whoops, don't shake hands, through the center, line it up and do that, whoops, like that. See? And you can just fiddle around until you get it laying how you want, and then push it down. Till a little bit comes off and you end up with it in a crack. There we go. Right, like that. Just taking off that excess there. Then you can use gravity to help get that line straight by twisting it round like that until you're back in line again. You can come in and then cut that. So that's your first black line in. You come around and you push on it with your thumb and your fingers just to make sure it's fully secure, because if it comes loose once it's baked, you'll have a lot of trouble trying to glue it back on. So from there on, you can then put 4 stripes in a similar way along that body. So just roll it and let gravity line it up as a straight line, like so. And when you come up to the first end, you can use that to measure and cut, like so. Roll it so that they're definitely in line, then push it down. Now, it doesn't matter if the line is slightly wobbly. If you look at bees, they're not pinned straight, so it's fine. Right, that's too short to go around yet, so let's get the next bit in like this. Lay it down, roll it into place. Now remember, you're rolling black on yellow, so anywhere the black touches is going to mark a black stain. So don't push it down until you're really certain, and try to get it lying right and not onto yellow that you don't want stained black. If you do end up with black where you don't want to, your best bet is to use rubbing alcohol. So that's the second line in, like that. I'm also making sure that the joins don't all sit in an even line, because that looks pretty fake as well. There we go, like this. I'm going to probably do 4 stripes, I think looks about right. So there, break it off because I was lucky and it broke at exactly the right place there. Give it a roll, 1 last stripe. A bee is a really simple starter clay project. It really was probably one of the very first things that I did. If your string breaks like that, just go in, add it on top or next to it, and then continue your wrap around. You don't have to completely scrap it just because it broke, because once you push it down, sorry, I'm just wiping my hands because I've got black clay on the finger, it all looks perfectly fine. So there we are. So we've got a stripy bee now. Let's get this black out of the way, because the last thing you want to do is put your bee down on a bit of scrap black clay and you end up with this big black mark. So for that stinger, we want to roll out a little ball of black like that, and then we're going to pinch and twist like we did for that abdomen, but keep going until it's quite long and got quite a sharp point like that. See? Now pick it up and we're going to push that in the center of the back end. Sorry about that, I'll tell him off for it later. Then I curve this under like that, because that's more of the shape a sting actually has. So almost there with the black. The last thing to do, 2 little balls, same size as each other for the eyes. And again, you can put a smile on it, it's dealer's choice. It does look kind of cute. Make sure you get those eyes level with each other because it looks a bit odd. There we go, eyes on. So last thing to do are those wings. Now if you can see, my hands are not good, they're covered in yellow, so make sure before you touch a single bit of white that you've cleaned your hands and your surfaces. And if your wet wipes go dry, which happened to me all the time, just stick them under the tap and give them a shake. You don't need to put that pack in a bin. You can re-wet a wet wipe. So look at this, how much yellow is on all that. That would have all ended up on those white wings, because white shows up absolutely everything. And even your countertop, that looks very clean, but give it a quick wipe, you'll see the tissue's got some yellow on it. So just be super duper careful that you're not going to cross contaminate, and again, give your tools a quick wipe down. Right, on to the dreaded white. What we're going to do is we want 4 balls of white clay, because the same as we did with that middle panel, that's what we're going to do with these wings. Put it either side. So we want it large enough for the wing shape. You want it to go down into a teardrop and then just use your thumb to push it so it's got a flat edge, like so.
Looks like sweet corn.
Yeah, kind of sweet corn look. Grab a drink. And you want to try and get these 4 as similar as you can to each other. Push it down like so. That looks roughly right. And it feels weird doing 4 wings for a bee, but it's the easiest way to enclose the wire wings. Now, even after all that hand cleaning, there's dust.
Yeah.
There we go. See?
Can't really see it.
Can't really
Just
see. There you go.
focus
Look,
if you like. Yeah.
dust. You need a hazmat suit for this stuff. I tell you, it's... Yeah. Without rubbing alcohol, the things I make would just look like dust traps, even when you're being really clean. People say nail varnish remover works. I've tried it. Usually, especially in cheap nail varnish remover, there's just not enough acetone. So, pick your most dusty side and face that towards the wire. You're going to do the inside part of the wing first. You're pushing it onto that wire so that you can see the clay comes through and that it's firmly pushed against the base of that little disc section you did, like so. Now then you do the back again. Make sure it's far enough down that it's all in alignment, and you're going to push it on firmly. Try and make sure you're not trapping any air. So I tend to go from one side to the other so it forces the air out rather than sealing in the whole wing. But you do still have, can you see that join line all the way around there? So that looks really rough. So you need to support the wing, then come in either with a ball tool or with something flat like the end of that, something shovelly side. And if you ain't got that, you can even come in with your fingers, but they get into far fewer gaps. So I tend to use my largest ball tool to do this. You're just going to smudge out that join line all the way around. Without trying to distort that wing too much. I mean, you can reshape afterwards, so don't be too freaked out about it. It is going to distort a bit, but you really don't want it to go too crazy. So that'll do. Like that. You're going to need to smooth out those little lines that you put in and get it back into a shape that you like. Like so. See, now we're on to the other side, and it's the same thing again. Inside first, make sure it's down far enough and push it onto that metal properly. Then support the back of it and push that other side on, like so. Then smooth out those wing lines. So it's a real quick project. How long have we been going? I think it's not even... Yeah, it's only a half hour. So if you've got something you want to do with little kids as a quick project to keep them quiet, this is a good one. You're going to probably need to help them with their wire, but after that it's not too fiddly, especially if they're not so worried about join lines. And you can literally just do it as a ball, a teardrop and a disc with 2 wings stuck on. but you will find that the wings fall off pretty easily. So again, smudge them back into the right shape and look in how you want, and you're done. You've got a bee. It's a good looking bee. It needs a clean down, and once the black's on the yellow, don't just drag a cotton bud straight over it, because it will just melt the black and smew it all over the yellow. Thank you. You have to be really careful to get into the gaps if you're trying to re-clean up. Now I'm going to make sure I give that white a quick clean down, just in case I got any yellow on it, which I definitely have on the undersides. Who's got jaundice on their wings? There we go. That's better. Nope, you need a liver to have jaundice. I'm not sure bees do. There we are. That'll do. Give it a bake. Look at the cooking temperatures on your clay. FIMO, it's 110. I would say 20 minutes would do this fine. Before I end, I'm just going to show you. Do you remember we finished Lizard Man last week? Well, here he is, completely done. I finished his spines off camera, so I thought I'd give you a quick look. You guys are the first to see him. I haven't posted him photos anywhere online yet, so I shall do that.
Liz says, yes, they are very cute.
Thank you. If you end up making your own bee, do give me a look, any of you. Thank you. Thank you. I am pleased with him. He's looking pretty good. I'm thinking about not varnishing him. I like the matte look, so I might actually just leave him as is, and when all this madness is over, I can then open my shop again and put him back up for sale.
Hedgehog says he is amazing. Jane Cameron says, I hope it's going well, buzzing with excitement here, but unfortunately teaching, sure it will be fabulous.
Thank you, Jane. I hope you have a good lesson yourself. She's a teacher of all sorts of things. She teaches music and silk painting and lots of stuff. Another one of these people that I actually suspect has a 48-hour day. But there we have it. So
says, I missed last week. The Lizard Man is awesome.
Thank you very much. I'm the only one who's got to be here, and even I don't make it every week. So I'm just really grateful for everyone who shows in. I looked on my YouTube and I'm at 188 followers, and I've had almost 3,000 views. So woo-hoo, people are actually watching this. I'm very pleased. Very, very pleased. So massive appreciation to all of you who watch my stuff. I am actually grateful. When I see messages, they genuinely make me smile. Thank you. Right, okay, I'll let you all go. I hope you all have fun making bees, and I'll see you all next week. Don't forget, I've asked you all to vote on what you want the next project to be. Either a rock troll or a satyr. So a goat man with the big curly horns rather than the goat man with the little puck tiny nub horns, or a troll made of rocks. Okay? Comment, message, share, all the good stuff. Have a great week, and I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.